welcome to Life with Bridget, the podcast where real life discussions come to life. And I am your host, Bridget, and I am so glad that you're here. This is the space for insightful interviews, real conversations, and inspiring stories from incredible people that are doing amazing work across different walks of life. Whether you're looking for motivation, fresh ideas, or just a sense of community, you're in the right place.
Thank you.
On Life with Bridget, we sit with professionals, entrepreneurs, change makers, and everyday people who are making a difference. Together, we explore lessons, challenges, wins, and everything that is in between. And this is because we believe that every story has something to teach. And on today's episode, the title is Tech Powered Growth and How to Scale and Automate Your Business Like a Pro. And with me today is none other than the greatest and the famous Michael Okolie. I'm just going to give a little bio about Michael. So Michael Okolie is a seasoned IT professional and the director at Netact Services Incorporated, where he leads a diverse portfolio of proactive and reactive IT solutions. His expertise spans the full spectrum of IT operations, people, processes, and technology, helping businesses transform and thrive in the digital age. With over 25 years of proven success, Michael has delivered impactful results in software development, digital transformation, cybersecurity, ERP, CRM, e-commerce, and process optimization for both business and manufacturing sectors. Widely respected for his visionary thinking and innovative problem solving, Michael is known for steering global business strategies that drive sustainable growth and operational excellence. His leadership approach blends technological acumen with strategic insights, earning him a reputation as a catalyst for high performance outcome. Michael's qualifications include a diploma in mathematics and statistics and IT, and a bachelor's degree in computer science and an MBA. He also holds numerous certifications, including MCSA, CCNA, CCNP, Certified Project Manager, Scrum Master, and Business Analyst Professional, along with other specialized technology credentials. Michael, what you got here? And beyond the tech world, Michael is a dedicated community leader. He serves as an advisor with the Black Empowerment Unit at the City of Brampton. And this is where he contributes to strategic initiatives that promote economic, social, cultural, and youth development within the Black community. Whoa. His efforts include supporting Black youth in education, expanding access to employment opportunities, and fostering entrepreneurship and sports engagement. In his spare time, aside all of this long bio, he enjoys reading, connecting with people, and staying active through soccer and baseball. Today, Michael is here to share powerful insights that can help you grow your business in a smarter and a more efficient way with the right technology tools. So grab your notebook, settle in. If you have any special beverage, whatever snack that you're craving for, go get it and let's dive into today's episodes. I always say come with a note and a pen. I'm also learning. So this is a learning opportunity for everybody. I want to thank you all for joining. This means a lot. Thank you so much. Thank you, Michael. Thank you for accepting to be our guest today. And I'm going to dive right into the business of the day. I hope I didn't miss anything.
Thank you so much, Bridget, for having me. I appreciate this time. I'm always excited when I have the opportunity to speak at a public event. It's kind of like a knowledge transfer for me. So thanks once again for having me on your show.
You're welcome, Michael. Thank you. I'm going to dive straight to the first question.
Mm.
What does the tech-powered growth truly look like in today's business landscape? Everybody's, scooping into that. And why is it critical for a long-term successful business owners?
Thank you. That's a good question. So I'm going to put it back to you because you are also one of our clients at Netact Services Inc. Prior bringing you on board, helping you with your business
Mm.
through creating that beautiful platform for your event, and I'm sure you were somewhere. So I
Yeah.
would ask, maybe you can take a few seconds to also respond to my question, then I'll go into details. So how has it been working with us? How has business been? What has been the
And
feedback for you?
so I would say before I got in touch with you people, I've heard lots of negative reviews on developers that have tried to create websites for business owners in my community. I don't know about others. And it's been, oh no, I'm not finding it, like this is not what I want. This is not what was paid for. It's such a this is not what I paid for. I'm like, okay, then I don't want anybody in my city. I'm sorry, city people. But I remember reaching out to Mariam of Canada Vendors, and I said, Mariam, I need a reliable person that comes highly recommended from you to do my website. And this is because I got a funding from BBPN. From BBPI to get a website as a way of supporting Black business entrepreneurs in the community. And I'm like, okay, I want this money to be utilized properly in the right way. So there's value for the money, and the trust that, it's been placed, for me to grow my business in the community. And Mariam goes, oh, I know the right person. Thank you, Mariam. Shout out to Mariam. Thank you so much. And shout out to BBPI. I'm truly grateful to Joyce and Joycelyn and her team. Thank you so much. And Michael's team came through. I would want to say that I was one of those, will I say stubborn client, was I? Michael, referring
No,
to me.
no, you knew what you wanted, but again, you were coming from an experience, right? So you needed a place or a team of technical professionals to help you navigate that experience, and I'm really glad because the experience you had in the past is no longer what it is now. So if you look back, you would say yes, we do have people in our community that actually know their onions. And I think that's one of the things that we've done for you to transform and to change that experience. We also, I've also provided you that opportunity, for you to be able to leverage technology to promote your business, to increase your sales, your revenue, and of course your clientele base.
And just
So,
a quick one, let me cut you
yeah,
short. So I had someone audit my website.
right.
So we had like a training for business owners to support, businesses in the city. And it was the same training that was sponsored by BBP. And I'm like, okay, let's see what this training is about. And I had a one-on-one sessions with one of the coaches. And she goes, I need to audit your page to see so I can advise you on what to do. And I'm like, what to me looks good. I don't know, because she's more like, will I say a critic, but like a honest, critic that provides positive responses.
Mm-hmm.
And when we had the meeting, she goes, Bridget, I took my time to review your website and I say, this is really good. Your website is good, but where you put, we offer services for pocket friendly, whatever. She said, go take it out. Take it out. I don't want to see that. So it was a beautiful review. And I'm going to, it is really, yes.
Yeah,
Thank you,
thanks.
Michael. I'm grateful to you and your team. I appreciate.
Yeah, thanks for that feedback. So basically, just to answer that question, I think you already answered it. I wanted to make it interactive. So when we talk about tech-powered growth, you've looked at your business, you've made your forecast, your plan, but you don't know how or where to start from. You haven't actually made your plan that would show how you're going to scale from where you are to where you want to be. So tech power growth simply is just the use of that, whether it's your website, it's your application, mobile app, whether it's CRM, whatever technology that helps to drive your business. It's the use of that technology to ensure that your business is growing and of course is competitive enough and sustainable enough to help you to succeed. So you have leverage on your website as a way of building, providing opportunities for people to see what you're able to do. I know one of those things that website does is to provide you your clients or prospect information about your professional wedding and event planning. And I think it is no doubt that the feedback came, and it is positive. So you would, if you're able to estimate where you were and where you are today, you would see there's definitely been some traffic around that platform. Your website, you probably didn't reach, be contacted. And not just that, I remember we also set you up on your corporate email as a small business. Part of what we want to do is to ensure that you're not using a generic email. You want a corporate work email that shows actually that you're prepared and you're ready to engage and do business with serious-minded people. So as a result, technology does enhance that experience and help to facilitate and of course foster innovation, which eventually, if you, I don't know what your numbers look like, but I want to believe that you've started making money, you started generating revenue on sales from just simply having that website in place. And that's what tech-driven, tech-driven growth or tech-powered growth implies.
Okay, thank you, Michael. Where should a business begin when thinking about scaling through technology? What are the foundational steps that you think may come in handy?
Well, first, I've always talked about having a plan. You got to have a plan, no matter what you do, no matter how small it is. Your business is, whether it's a 20, 50K revenue business, just got to have a plan. And the plan doesn't mean you must have like a bogus or a broad-based plan. You must have, it can be very small. It can be a plan to just identify who your prospect or who your clientele are. How you want to move from when your business started, 1 year, 2 years after, how you want to project from there on. So you got to have a plan, no matter how small the business is.
Yeah.
And that plan would also kind of like future-proof your business, right? It tells you how much investment you're going to require, how much capital. That's what that plan does for you. For every business, that's always what I recommend that you have. And of course, when you have a plan, you do need to understand who your target customers are. You just can't have, and it's so interesting. I was talking about this at an event, another podcast, just identify different businesses and organizations. They tend to serve everybody in the community. And I'm asking, how do you serve it? That means the brand as not for profit, they come off as profit-oriented organization. They come off as social entrepreneur. Where do you belong? You got to be specific. So every time I speak, I always tell because I'm a businessman. I do community service out of what comes out from the business, which means extra time, extra money. I tend to support, the community, but you got to be clear. You recall how our engagement started when you reached out. We started talking immediately about your requirements and how your requirement is going to translate into how much you're going to spend, what the range of your spending is going to look like, So those are also very important. Don't come off as a not-for-profit. You don't want to be making profit. Then you're branding as, you got to identify what it is, which means you got to streamline your operations, right? And come up also with a plan for increasing your efficiency, So most importantly, for small businesses, we've seen this also happens. And I'm glad that Netact Services Inc. is where we are today. We started this organization about 6 years ago now, from back home in Nigeria, from a small corner where we started developing small applications to now where we have some multi-million-dollar worth applications, CRM, ERPs, but mostly what has gotten us here is because we put a plan in place from the beginning. We identify who we want to work with. You know, we didn't say we were not for profit. We're fully profit oriented. Before you approach us, that is already clear. You know, and we go from ground zero, which means identifying your business model, identifying what it is you need in order for you to succeed in your business, and of course, developing that solution, you know, to help you scale in that business.
Well, great. How can automation enhance productivity without sacrificing personalization or customer connection?
Automation. What is automation? I like an interactive, but unfortunately, I think I have to speak here. So automation basically is just transforming your manual business operation into leveraging the first question, which is tech-powered growth. You know, so you're moving. Let's say, for example, for your business now, you get a lot of calls, maybe people calling you to say, hey, send us a quote, send us an estimate for an event X, right? But on your platform that we built for you now, you already have a form there, or feature there that we implement that can easily send a quote to the client. That in itself is a simple way to define automation. And how do you leverage that? It's simply identifying what it is from an innovation point of view, and what it does do for you at the end of the day is to enhance your customer experience and engagement. So going back to the example I used about your business, your customer experience must have changed. You probably don't get manual calls anymore. You get clients to just go on your website now and fill in all the details, information, and the system automatically generates that quote and send to them. Then you can engage them, right? So automation does help to drive that innovation, also help with improving customer experience, which ultimately would facilitate that business expansion that we as business owners, you know, always look out for.
Yeah. So, but you see, the thing with this automation is that sometimes I still have clients who want to reach out through Instagram and request for details. I've had instances where I referred one of them to the website and the person did not get back to me. I'm like, okay, so what's going on? So it's possible that the next action for me is to ensure that I have that automation that is inbuilt in my Instagram as a way of, you know, providing response, like outright response to employees, and also providing a quote for them at the same time. Because I think that with this whole Instagram thing, like, people want easy, like, you know, they want it to be like, just like that is what they feel comfortable with. And I'm like, okay, how do I, like, you know, merge this? It's actually something that I'm working on. I've not even started, but I'm like, okay, maybe I should maybe get a template that would work for that, probably for the Facebook and then Instagram.
Yeah, so you can leverage it. Even Instagram works effectively now by providing real-time information. So when people reach out to you and they want to probably expand further on what they've seen on your website, right? Your Instagram page can be a way to provide those information. You know, I know there is a feature on Instagram that interactively you should look out for it. It's an AI feature now they've added that can actually respond to queries without you being there. Then you can come back to that conversation afterward. Now with the advent of AI, with innovation, you know, machine learning taking over most business operations, it becomes easier for you to engage your clients. And I think the first is that clients want to reach out to you and make sure and ensure that you're accessible. Nobody wants to reach out and, you know, they're not able to reach you. Then it becomes a problem to your business. So you can actually build on those features on Instagram. And if you need some ways to go about it, you can always reach out to us to show you through all of that. But most importantly, is that you're continuously engaging with your client or your prospect, because the conversation doesn't only end on your platform. So when they get a quote through your platform, and maybe for some reason you're not able to access, or they're not able to reach out to you, there's also the flexibility or the functionality on your platform as well, to be able to know how many views, how many people engage with your website. And there's a reporting side also, and not just specific to yours. That depending on different clients. There's some website where clients will say, we want to see the report of activities, how many people came there, how long they stayed, what were the areas they engaged more with. In your own case now, did they engage more on the event side? Did they engage more on wedding side? I want to see those reports. So those reports can be built in, and depending on the kind of report that is configured, we can actually take it to the next level to say, okay, for whoever reaches out or whoever engages with my website, we want to be able to get those person's demography. We want to get the person's location. We want to get the person's, if possible, names and maybe postal code. We have those features there as well, but then again, if you don't ask, you don't get, right?
Yeah.
If you ask, then Netact Services Inc is able to implement all that. So with AI, now with all the innovations going on, robotics, 5G taking the place of businesses now, engagement with clients, customers should be seamless.
I totally agree. I think I have some work to do, to put in that effort to make sure this is a streamless process for my business.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you share any powerful example where the right technology intervention helped a business scale or transform significantly?
Yeah, I mean, we've had a lot of the interesting thing about our organization is that we're not only experienced expert in tech. We understand the business side of things as well. The industry-wide experience that we have. If you go on our website, you see the different industries that we service: healthcare, hospitality, we service supply chain, education as well. That also does help. So we've seen, and I'm going to keep this confidential for the purpose of the client.
Yeah, of
We've
course,
seen
of
a
course.
business in the GTA, and this was during the COVID era. I remember COVID when a lot of things were kind of shut down, and these clients were looking to sell their business because they felt like business wasn't moving. It was really frustrating, right? So
It's kind of frustrating, yeah.
yeah, just like your own case too. Someone give them my contact and say, reach out to Mike. I think he might have a solution for you. It's interesting how we had this engagement in the very busy for this client too. It was COVID, it was quiet, but it was busy for them because they were in between selling this business or keeping it. So they were engaged in phone calls. There's a lot of things going on. So we met up somewhere and we started talking. But I always remember, and I remember this client a few weeks ago. We had gone there for an event, and he was making reference to this experience that I'm sharing. And he said, "This is how I put it, my guy. I'm at the point now of selling this business.
Oh, no.
Like I'm done. I've been running it for 20-something years now. But right now, it seems like I've hit the dead end and I need to sell. But someone said I speak to you, and as I speak to you right now, you're the last person I'm going to talk to. What do you think I can do? So okay, this is going to be a long conversation. How much time do you have? Good enough, I had a accountant with us. Just one of those evenings. I say, hey, let's go. So we started talking, and this is a business that's like, this is not a new business. They've been existing for 25 years at the time. Now maybe approximately 30. This was COVID era. So we went on and started talking. The first thing I always try to do is to understand the background story. Tell me what it is. How did you get here? How did you start? How did you get here? What have you done? I'm a member of Business Network International. So the business side of things is always like a priority for me. before thinking about the kind of solution to introduce to the customer or to propose. And he went on and on, himself and two members of their staff, told the stories of how they started, how they got here, how business used to be good, but now it looks like it's collapsing. And I'm like, okay, I think we still have a chance here to restore this business. So we had 3 hours conversation that night. The next day they asked us to come back. We went back again, this time with a demo. Usually they tell you, okay, show us how we're going to move from this point to another. So the momentum started building. Someone always like, okay, I'm just talking to you because somebody said talk to him. At the point of like, let's just end this stuff. And the conversation changed from there on. Bottom line is that we made a proposal to them. They signed it and they paid. I mean, the kind of client that will pay well. I mean, just like you as well. They paid well for us to just step in and help them. And the success story for me always something I'm always proud of. And every time I drive past those locations, is that they went from 2 locations at the time to having 7 locations in the space of 1 year. They had a location in North York, and another one in Scarborough. The same period while we're working with them, while automating, and they opened up a location in Mississauga, Hamilton, Newmarket, Oshawa, and downtown within that 1 year period, just by us stepping in, helping them to navigate up. And today business is running there, so it's always an exciting thing to see that we have the solution, we have the expertise, we have the experience to help businesses, to navigate whatever challenges they're facing.
I know a lot of businesses, are struggling as well. And most times, some of those business owners are struggling, financially, that it wouldn't even reach out to anybody, But then again, right, is there like anything like for budget, especially for small entrepreneurs that are just starting up, and still finding it hard to navigate the markets?
Well, you see, the thing is, when you come out to what is an entrepreneur? Who is an entrepreneur? What is entrepreneurship? Let's start from there. The short way of defining entrepreneurship is a risk taker. You dem all the consequences, for me, the use of my language. You got to decide, first of all, before you start a business, to say, what do I want to do? What do I want to do? Am I ready for the risk? And when I say risk, you know what risk implies, right? It means that you're going to sacrifice time. You're going to sacrifice money. You're going to sacrifice energy. You're going to sacrifice everything.
Even your peace.
Everything. What I mean, everything to get to where you want to be.
Agreed.
That's why we are very restless. And sometimes, like 1 minute you're thinking, the next minute you're on the road, the next minute a call is coming, and you got to stay organized still in that process. That's part of the risk. So my advice always to entrepreneurs, those who are starting business, first of all, identify what it is you want to do. Study the market, the environment. I remember when we restarted Netact Services Inc. I had done a research. I did an individual personal research on my own. Then I hired a group of people to help me do research. The research was more to identify how many service provider, IT service provider, solutions providers are in our community. That's where we started from. How many do we have that actually legitimately, professionally provide the kind of services that we want to provide? I can tell you, Bridget, the way we have entrepreneurs and we have entrepreneurs. There were like a lot of entrepreneurs.
Whoa.
It was a pool of entrepreneurs. If you're looking for entrepreneurs, you actually get entrepreneurs.
I can imagine.
There were very few. No, there were very scanty number of entrepreneurs in the IT solutions provision space. When I say solutions provider, that means we you sit with the business, identify their business needs from a solutions perspective too, and help them navigate the processes to improving their business by installing by implementing, by developing a solution, because everything is about tech. A solution, a technology solution that can help drive their business. That means that they are speaking, telling you their story, just like the one I narrated that went from 2 locations to 7 locations. As they're telling you their story, you're conceptualizing it, you're thinking, okay, we can't be running around. We just have to stay strategic, be able to come up with a solution that can help to improve that business. So be ready to take the risk. First of all, identify that space where you can fit in comfortably. We've done a lot of government projects, just like yours. Oh, we have government have these funds for us, 20K, 30K, 50K, but they just want us to implement cybersecurity services. They want a solution built, and we've identified with your organization. Those are the kind of areas where we play as well, right? So you identify what it is you want to do the research, your market research, identify what is available or what is lacking in that space, right? Then be ready to put in your own money. You got to spend. We are going to tell. Well, you recall how your project went. You gave us some percentage, and you see how long it took us before the other percentage came, right?
Yes.
During that period, business got to continue.
You're right.
You can't say, because payment hasn't come in, they're going to shut down. No, you got to be ready to put in your money, and not money from. No, you got to be ready to invest. You got to be ready to also be patient, because we're in a very post-COVID, we're in a very tough place where we don't know. But mentally, you could tell. Even the economy is telling on people. You would see that we're pretty much transitioned into a more a tougher economy than before COVID, right? So you got to be patient with people, with your clients. Some will owe you money. The ones who owe us money, we're begging them to pay every day. Say, okay, pay us. We don't want to come. Somebody said to me, go after them. I said, no, we don't want to do that, but let's just pay. You can't continue to use a service. You don't want to. No, you kill the business.
You kill the business.
And that's part of the risk you want to take too as an entrepreneur, because when that paycheck is not cleared, you got to be ready to put in yours, just so that you can have business going.
You're right. And just a quick one, maybe let me address this. So for those of you, and I have clients who, are on a contract with you based on the fact that they are not able to pay in full at the moment, please ensure that you have a contract in place that is signed. I had that with my business, Elegance Events and Weddings. I know times are hard. A lot of, this economy is not just smiling on people, man. It's really, really like, destroying a lot of things and, stalling things as well. And I'm like, okay, yes, it's doable, but it's a business for me, right? I'm not going to perform magic or miracle to bring things that I don't have, but this is what the contract states. When, I didn't say pay tomorrow, okay, when do you think that you're able to fulfill your own part of this commitment? Okay, are you sure? Really? Okay. And I went ahead and like, okay, do you want to sign? Let's agree on this. And she was wondering, don't you trust me? Oh, this is business. It is. When the business goes down, it's me that I'm going to be in trouble because I have people to pay, right? And in the end, the money even came in a day before that day. I'm like, okay, I don't have to remind you. I don't have to go after you, but this is what it is. We need to support businesses, and supporting means you paying for services that you need. Okay, that's us to the next question. What are some overlooked or underestimated technology tools that small businesses can use to automate and grow?
Good question too. So your social media. You see, social media, it has not been explored. I see all this one we're doing. I wish I would have. I'll chip in this in our meeting on Monday. I'm just gonna send a message to say, hey, can we have a session where we just talk specifically about social media? It's the cheapest. It's the most convenient because it's mostly done on mobile, right? Something you can do while you're on the move. So if you're looking at those tools, first of all, is your social media as a small business, because the first thing you want to do is to build clientele. Right? So how you and how you connected with us, it was through Miriam. We've done something with Miriam's community, and thanks to Miriam also for all the amazing stuff she's doing.
I love Mariam. She's doing a lot of
And
things and I also
yeah,
support them.
yeah, and everyone doing amazing stuff out there just to support local businesses. Um, the one challenge before I go deep into that question, your question is the one challenge we face is that we still have some of our businesses going to outside our location, you
Hmm.
know, and that kills business as well. So localization is very important for small business, in as much as small business is the economic power, is the powerhouse of any economy, right?
Hmm.
We
Yep.
have
Great.
a friend reached out to me and said, "Oh, Michael, I'm having this problem with some guys in the US. They're doing my website, and I think that they couldn't just figure it out what I told them to do." And I sat there looking at her, I'm like, you know me, you know what I do. What would have? I didn't ask her, but I
Yeah.
was just like,
Your thoughts.
you took this business out to like, I'm like, okay. I mean, my usual way. I helped, I supported. I said, okay, let me engage with them. Let me understand what it is they are doing. Then I can help provide some directions. So that's also one of the things that we're facing. So, but so we're encouraging you all out there, Miriam, through your platform and others who are supporting our business, to please localize. With tariff now, it's even going to be a little bit tough for you if you're going out there because the prices would double. But if you localize your production, localize your supplies, the cheaper it will be. Imagine the stress she has to go through because she has a US-based
Hmm.
service provider. She didn't have
And
to go through that stress.
then
She
after,
could easily come knock on Madison Boulevard and say, "Hey, my job, let it be completed today," right? Because we're here in Mississauga.
hmm.
The client is probably somewhere to in Mississauga. So why are you going to the US? You know, like the saying in Nigeria, what is in Sokoto is in Sokoto. All these services are here. So leverage on it.
So
So
I think on that, I would sorry to chip in. Some people just believe that, oh, you're my friend, you do business, but there's
yeah,
this person that, I want that person. I tell people, I say, well, you don't have to patronize me if you don't believe that I can do it for you.
yeah,
Go to
yeah,
wherever you want to do, but you cannot give me a job and then have that reservation. No,
yeah,
I'm out
you know.
for excellence. I'm
Mm-hmm,
out to do the job because I take my craft very seriously
mm-hmm,
because I love my craft.
mm-hmm,
And if you don't see that, then it's okay. Give it to whoever I want to do. And sometimes I've had instances where even people that I know, who go
mm-hmm,
behind to do it. But I say, oh no, it's not me. Somebody is sponsoring
yeah,
it. And then
mm-hmm,
those people that they pay to come to rent items from me,
yeah, mm-hmm,
and they say, oh well, actually, that one
mm-hmm,
really, yeah. I'm like, okay, well, and I say support. I'm like, okay, what do you want?
mm-hmm,
This is it. Do you want to add this to make it a bit more fanciful? But
yeah,
that is business is support.
yeah,
Like it
yeah.
is.
Basically, we support, and that's how we grow.
Yeah, you're
So
right.
I mentioned already social media is a huge tool for small business. It's cheap. Your email marketing come under that platform. Um, your Google marketing comes through that platform. You also have your so everything is encompassed in the digital marketing
Social marketing. Yeah.
tools. So you have social media marketing, you have content marketing, you have email marketing, all of them. And if you look at these tools, they're almost um, at zero cost. But you got to be strategic with it. I've always talked about being strategic, which means understanding who you're targeting, who you're going after for your business. You can't be going after everyone in the
No.
beginning. No, you got to be specific. Who are you going after? And another important tool, sometimes often underestimated, is the CRM. Interestingly, we have a CRM for small businesses that can help manage your project.
Mm.
Can help just similar to what you have for tools like Trello, Monday.com. You have this tool that is built by Netact Services Inc. that can help you manage your project, your clientele, who to speak to at what time to reach out to them. And those have some unique features to be able to trigger email directly from that platform. Um,
Interesting.
yeah, so there are a bunch of those small tools. Google Analytics for sure. It's also Canva. You a lot of times we do a lot of online posting of event and all that. Canva comes handy to draw up those content. We do have Also, I mentioned Trello as a project management tool. And of course, if you're looking for a cheap, a really easy to use CRM for your small business, we do have that solution as well. One concern that clients always have when it comes to using a generic tool like the ones I mentioned is that you're not guaranteed of your data privacy. You don't know. Every time you enter something, you don't know where it's going to. But
You're
when you have a
right.
customized solution, like your website, for example, is local to you. You are the one who can tell what is inside. You can pull out the reports to know how many impressions you're having, how many engagements you're having there. So it's always recommended to have like a customized solution. And these days they come even cheap, right? So pretty much, you also want to consider having, and I see this happens a lot of time. You have a domain name that says Bridget.com, for example, and that's your business. Yeah, that's your business name. And you're using gmail.com to send email to clients. It doesn't show you're serious.
Yeah,
I've always
I
said
think I'm guilty of that. I am guilty. Yeah,
I've always said that if you already
I think
have the
I am
domain.
guilty. It's not like I have it. You guys created and I think it's professional, but just somehow I don't. Why do I do this? Why? I don't know. Maybe because I've stuck in that unprofessional email. I'm like, okay, gmail.com. I'm like, wait first, what the hell am I doing? And sometimes I'm finding it hard to marry both because sometimes when clients send email to the professional email, because it's not a regular Gmail where I go to for my personal and everything. I'm a business owner. I love business. So I have like a lot of businesses. So I want them all in one place. When I just click on the icon, it shows me which one are you clicking on. So I felt it was easy. I'm like, okay. And the person sends an email and sends me a message on Instagram. Oh, I'm here to get a response from you. I'm like, response when? I'm like, go, there's no, what message? I'm like, oh, wait. Oh, wow.
It's
It's
probably
really
that my email.
like, wow. And I go there,
What
the message has been sitting there for like 9 days. I'm like,
9 days because
this
you
is not
don't check it.
professional. No, no,
I
no, no,
know.
no. I'm destroying my business. I am
Yeah.
destroying the trust that PPPI put to invest the money for me to do this. I'm like, no. No, 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 no. I need to be more intentional. Like this,
Yeah.
I'm guilty,
Yeah.
very guilty. Judge
Yeah.
me, yes, but I need to be more intentional to make sure that I focus on that professionalism for my business.
Yeah.
I'm going to stop that, really. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And
I've
because
always
people want
talked about that.
consistency as well. Today you use Gmail, tomorrow you're putting that one. Okay, no, 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 no,
Yeah.
no, no. I need to end it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Totally.
So the moment you register your domain, the moment you set up your domain and you're ready, that means you're ready to do business. That means that domain is owned by you. That means anything that goes around there. It takes nothing to set up your corporate email. Sometimes the concern is always, okay, how am I going to manage it or not? Just the same way you manage your Gmail. It's the same way, it's yours. It's your brand. It's your baby, you know. So and it's what represents your professionalism out there. It's what shows, okay, because it's sending me email with a Gmail and you say you own a company and I can see your business and I can see that you have a domain name and a website that portrays what your business does, and you're still sending me email with your Gmail. Like nobody's going to take you serious.
It's so professional. You're so
Yeah,
right. I
because
agree with you on this.
yeah,
Yes, yes.
and because of the privacy and confidentiality concern too, people are gonna anyone who wants to deal with it is gonna like, okay, I like sending this into Gmail. You're telling me someone is not gonna have that access to that information, but your domain, not everybody's gonna have access to that information,
Yes.
right? So it's very important that we put this into perspective. I know often is always a concern of how to fund it. But again, that's where we come in. Those things are cheap for us to support businesses with. Yeah, and there are things as cheap as they are in terms of helping you to maintain those corporate work emails. That's how big they can transform your business.
And it comes
Yeah,
to credibility as well, right? It
absolutely,
comes with that credibility. Yeah, yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. Okay. I know you did touch light on who the information goes out to in terms of securing, the database of your business. This pushes me now to my next question. At what point should a business consider implementing advanced systems like the ERP, CRM, or cybersecurity frameworks?
At what point did you consider, let me put it back to you again. At what point did you consider having your own website?
I've always wanted it. Like, I just felt that, okay, it was time for me to be intentional about the business, because I noticed in Canada, maybe probably is where the province I'm in, you barely find people on Instagram or, yes, like, at a platform where you grow your business or try to connect with prospecting clients. People do you have a website? I'm like, why do you keep a website? Can't you just go to Instagram and just see? I'm like, I don't even, I tried to do a website on Wix and also GoDaddy. I'm like, I don't have this technicality to start, and no, I don't have that patience. So start going, no, click. Do you want this one to know? I'm like, okay, no. Then the opportunity came. So I know Joycelyn not on one-on-one, but I will say it like I know her now. Her friend, her best friend was my colleague. So we got to connect, and I'm like, she goes, oh, there's a funding. I'm like, yeah, really? Wow, I'm interested. She goes, you don't worry, we're going to take care of it. I'm like, yeah, I won a jackpot. Well, just so you know out there, it's a funding that comes in every year for BBPI, but I don't know about this year because there's a lot of, most fundings are being cut, maybe probably because of the whole, US, Canada, trade war and all that, or maybe the whole financial, stagnation, I don't know, or degradation. But you should look out and see what's available. So then I said, it's time. So when there's yeah, I've got a website, www.eleganceeventsandweddings.com. It sounds good. Remember when I was sending you, oh, can it be like something like, how would it sound when you go, for those networking events? Because I love to connect. I love to network. I go, do you have a website? Oh, yes, here's my card. But, it's easy, www.eleganceeventsandweddings.com. They're like, oh, really? Yeah. I don't know. It gives me joy. Maybe I just felt like I wanted jackpot. I don't know, but that's how I feel when I say it. Yeah. I feel good. Those little things matters to me. Like, yeah. And I give myself on the part, a pat on the back. Oh, yeah, that's good. Say it again. That's what it is.
Basically, you've answered the question. There are different levels when you scale. So at every stage in your business, you have to consider the use of technology. So there's a different level. There's a point where you have your business is seen as a startup. They call it startup. You're starting up. Are you going to start up without putting into perspective the kind of technology you're going to use to? No. You're talking about what we just mentioned now, the emailing, your web platform, your social media, your digital marketing tools. At that stage, there's a level, depending on what your budget is, there's a level of innovation that you want to introduce, right? So you will get from startup to scale up. So you move from startup, now you scale. You scale, you no longer become startup anymore, but you're the level now where you're scaling, right? At that point too, you want to identify specific technological tools that you can use as you navigate that phase. Technology is also required. Again, I look back into when we started and how many employees we have and how many we have today, how many tools we used to use and what we currently have today. And it just keeps growing, right? Because that in itself is innovation, right? So you move from that growth level now to the point where you feel like your business is already mature, is established. Are you going to stop using tools or technology innovation? No, that's even when you now begin to invest more and say, okay, if we've been able to at startup level, we've been able to invest this XYZ amount into making sure that the business has come to this point. Now we're maturing, then we can as well put in more money, right? And so to answer that question, and even when you get to a point, you also feel like, you know what, I think I'm gonna have to change the business model, right? Or maybe bring forward some of those projects. Like I said in the beginning, you got to have a plan, 2 years, 3 years, 4, 5 years plan. So there are times when you feel like you're moving faster, closer to your 5-year plan, just within a 2-3 years period. But you got to now consider, okay, how do I shrink my 5 years plan into implementing it in 2-3 years, right? Everything being equal, let's say your business has gone beyond what you expected it. Then you also need to think about the renewal strategy. How are you going to rebrand? How are you going to remodel? In that process too, you're considering the use of technology. It could be your CRM that needs to be changed. It could be your social media that needs to have more influencers that you need to engage, to pay them, to make sure that they're pushing the brand more. So in every phase, to answer that question, at all stages, all phases of your business growth, from startup to scale up to maturing to, of course, getting to that point where you need to remodel, the use of technology is always encouraged.
Yes, and I agree. So how can data-driven decision-making accelerate growth, and what should businesses be tracking?
That's a good question too. So when you say data-driven decision, what does it mean? It just simply means making certain business decisions with the use of data. It could be a survey data that came out. For example, I always recommend to organizations to carry out a market research. If you are looking out or rolling out a new product, a new solution or service, carry out a research. Look at what the public is saying about such services or products, right? So from that research comes in some information that you will need to make those decisions, right? So as soon as this comes, and data-driven decision making, obviously productivity would improve, for sure, no doubt. Efficiency. You see all this. I work like you work tirelessly, you work, and at the end of the day, you're kind of like, okay, I've been putting all this energy, I've been putting all this effort, and it seems like there's no result. It's because you don't have anything you're working on. You're actually working, but you don't have what you're using to track and benchmark your progress.
Smart.
Exactly, that's the word. There's no strategy in place, and in order to have a good strategy in place to implement actionable items that can help grow your business, you need to carry out that research. That research that gives you that data. The data is now what helps you, right? To plug in, invest in areas of your business where you can invest in that would help your business to succeed. For example, you want to implement a schedule management system. Okay, is the public out there interested in having a schedule management system today? Question. You got to ask that question, and it's not your decision to make if you don't consult.
Yeah.
You got to consult with the public, those who are going to use that system, right? So recently, just to give a broader example, we have some of our clients that is in the healthcare space, and we do have there was a need to actually engage them to understand what it is and how they're engaging with their patients. And it came to mind that these guys actually need way more than this kind of operation where they have to speak to clients every time they want to get it, speak to their patients every time they want to get medical record. We developed, in fact, we're launching that soon. I'm sure it's probably going to be the first. I don't know who is behind the other AI scribe. We have an AI scribe that came as a result of this research. So what this AI scribe does is that it takes all the notes, all the information, medical record from the patient and translates it into a doctor readable form. So doctor don't have to engage you anymore to say, okay, what is wrong with you, Michael? Tell me all these stories. No. Through the system, the doctor can get all those information and they can engage you seamlessly without even having to see you. So that's a business opportunity. We have 3 medical clinics asking us for demo. They will be interested in seeing those kind of tools. So it's important that the public, the community where your business side is carried along when making certain decisions. And in order to make those decisions, you would need to consult them to get their feedback, their opinion as to what kind of system they're going to need for their business or even for the larger community.
Interesting. A lot of people say that that IT is the new gold. And I think it is important for businesses to start finding how they can leverage on this to scale up. Wow. Okay. So how can data-driven decision make? Sorry, I'm going to take that again. With AI and emerging technology trends, what should entrepreneurs prepare for to stay competitive in the next few years?
So, I left you a message on WhatsApp. Can you check?
Okay, sure. Just a moment.
Just to help manage our time before I answer that question.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, okay. Because I gotta run some.
I know.
Sure. For the kids.
So you have to be brief with your response because I have one last question. That's it.
I know. I'll try. So can you repeat the question
Okay,
again,
so
please?
with AI and emerging technology trends, what should entrepreneurs prepare for to stay competitive in the next few years?
That's a good question. So I'll take it, but I'll be brief that we can probably. So you gotta be first. I've always said you gotta be very strategic. You see, AI, ML, robotics, predictive medicine. Everybody's just saying these things now like it's new. It's not new. It's been like we've been talking about this like way back. I remember when I was still a science student back in those days. I would talk about how technology is going to take over the world, and I think that was for me the challenge. That was the excitement I actually had. So actually made me go for science-oriented, technology-oriented courses in school. These things have been there. They've just not been adopted. You know the way you buy some new clothing or some new outfit, you kind of like just drop it in your wardrobe because you don't see the need, but you love it, right? But one day you just come out like, I think this thing is going to be useful at this point. Maybe 5, 10 years after,
Later.
you just go back and say, let me bring out this shoe and. So the technology has been there. It's been said many times in the past, decades ago. Technology leaders just need to be prepared because it's a data-driven technology. And we talked about data, doing research, and all that. We just got to be prepared because there would be a lot of attempt to launch technology like this to help your businesses. But if we're not careful, we would be misled by some of these tools because they don't have or they don't align with our business model. So everybody wants to, let me use AI, let me use this tool. But does your business really need it?
Yeah, doesn't
those are
really
the
need
questions,
it.
right?
Yeah,
Exactly.
great.
So we've got to be prepared for those exigencies as well. And most importantly, knowing that the kind of data that you need for your business might not be the same as what I need, right?
Yeah,
So that's
agreed.
also a very important aspect to consider. And of
Okay.
course, it's an innovative. Okay, you want to take the next one? I get
Yes,
a little
thank
bit
you.
excited when I hear, and
I
I'm the one
know.
asking for short
I know.
time.
See, I have been taking my notes here. Trust me. Okay, so is there any advice you have for business owners or those that are seeking to gain tech skills, as this is the new gold in our era?
I think we already answered that question in our
Yes,
previous question.
like
So I'm
any
going to
advice, what's the
just
advice you have?
just be ready to take the risk. Is a risk adventure. You just be ready. And when I say risk,
Yeah.
there's a different level of risk, right? Just be ready to take the risk. Be ready to serve. And when I mean serve, that means even when there's no return on that investment,
All right.
you're persistent. You're focused on just making sure that you provide our service.
Thank you. Thank
You're
you,
welcome.
Michael. And that brings us to the end of another inspiring episode of Life with Bridget. This is a huge thank you to our guest, Michael Okolie. Thank you so much for sharing such valuable insights on how technology can drive growth, improve efficiency, and help businesses to scale like pros. And thanks to everyone who showed up to support today. So whether you're starting out or looking to elevate your current business systems, remember the right technology strategy can make all the differences. And if you're ready to take the next step, do not hesitate to reach out to Michael for your website, automation, or IT support that you need. He's the expert that you want in your corner. Note that he and his team created my website for my business, not the Life with Bridget, but www.eleganceeventsandweddings. Do not forget to follow us on Instagram and Facebook on Life with Bridget and subscribe to our YouTube channels, Life with Bridget, to stay updated on future episodes, guests, and real conversations that matter. Thank you for tuning in, and I remain your host, Bridget. And until next time, keep dreaming, keep building, and keep showing up for your goals. Thank you, and bye for now. Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Michael. I
Thank you.
appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you so
Bye-bye.
much. Bye-bye. Bye.